My name is Falkowski. I'm a musician here in New York City. I started a business called GearPlan. GearPlan is a peer-to-peer musical instrument rental marketplace. It's basically the Airbnb for guitars, bass, drums, keyboards, saxophones, xylophone, timpanis, anything that you might use on your musical adventure, on your musical endeavors. There's a million types of musical equipment and pieces of gear. There's a million types of musicians out there. And a lot of musicians, they spend ridiculous sums of money on musical equipment. If anybody knows a musician, they don't have one guitar, they have 5. I teach guitar and like my students show up, they can play one song, but they have 5 guitars. And one whip is better than the next. It's like they walk in with better gear than I do. So they have all of this equipment. When you start, you get this itch for an instrument, and you just have to have it. Next thing you know, you have a lot of equipment. So once you have all this equipment, you can only use 1 or 2 of it pieces at a time. After that, they just start collecting dust. They're very expensive pieces of that you just shove under your bed or you shove in your closet. And maybe a couple of years down the road, you sell it for half of what you bought it if you still have it at all. So from the other side of it, you have a lot of people out there who show up in town to play one show, or they need to record a record, they only need something for 2 weeks, and they don't need to go out and spend this ridiculous sums of money on a guitar or a bass for 1 show, 2 shows. It's the value is in the usage of that instrument, not necessarily owning it forever and ever and ever. So here we have a lot of some of the pieces you have. So GearPlan wants to create a mutually beneficial experience for both of these people. From one side, who have invested all this money and have invested all this time, it's something that they love, and the people who just need that for a short period of time. How the site started was I tour a lot and I play a lot of sessions all over the country and all over the map everywhere. And I'll find myself flying into different airports and you can only bring 2 pieces of gear, 2 guitars. That's all the stewardess will allow. I found that out through trial and error. After that, they get antsy and they become quite a situation. So I would fly into a place like Los Angeles, and the producer says to me, "You have an acoustic with you?" I say, "Absolutely." I pull out my acoustic, and we get to talk back a second later. Stop the sound with it. So then you say, "Well, you have a classical guitar with you," and I'll say, "No." And then the hunt is on. And you're calling, and you're looking around, you're emailing people, and it's nearly impossible to find a classic guitar, even though you know there's 80 within a mile of where you're standing because you're in Los Angeles. It's crazy. So meanwhile, like a block away, is this guy. And this guy has every costume you ever want or need, and he can only play 1 of those things. So here, he has microphones, speaker cabinets, music stands, everything. So there he is. But he doesn't know you need something that he has, and he would gladly probably lend it to you or rent it to you. So GearPlan basically has come along to bridge that gap between these 2 people who need these things, and create, hopefully, great art, great music, and a great scene, great events, and just create music in people's lives. That's a great thing. So everybody, well, I don't know if everybody here is a developer, but a lot of people here, I'm sure, are developers. So I didn't want to be the guy who came to you and said, "I got to do it, because I'm trying to get a lot." So I wanted to have something of an organization of like what specifically I was looking for in the app to go forward, and what we were going to use to make this run. So it had to be searchable. It had to have, if somebody's looking for a 1975 vendor Stratocaster, it couldn't just return things that said 1975 or Fender, because there's hundreds of Fender items. So it has to have all of those 1975 Fender Stratocaster guitars. And you would have to search for specific dates and also for the area parameters. Because if somebody's in Wisconsin who has a Fender Strat and the person who has one is in Kentucky, there's no big that. So it had to come back with all those results. Then it had to have maps, because you would have to have, once you figured out the general area, then where is it kind of specifically located? Is it walkable, drivable? Is that someplace you're willing to go to get that thing? Then you need a payment gateway. This way, basically we're trying to create people who have all this equipment. They're basically a music store already. We just want to give them the outlet to list their items and become that music store. So the payment gateway is a way for them to do that without going through all the hassle of setting up this whole system. And the system creates deposits, and it gets rather complicated. So that's something that needs to be included in the site. You need to log in and sign up, because a certain amount of the site is accessible without being logged in or signed up, but most of the site is going through your unique accounts once you actually decide to create a transaction. You would have separate universes for the different owners and renters, because it's different pathways to get to each. You have, for owners, you have the listing process. For the renters, you have the rental process of entering your credit card, picking the item, picking the dates, etc. And then you need to have notifications, because this isn't Facebook. Nobody's going to be checking this every 15 minutes. It's going to be something where it says, okay, someone has a question about your guitar or your bass, your microphone, and then you need to come back to the site and then you can actually answer those questions. It needs to be reactive, because two people at the same time can't be trying to rent the same equipment. It needs to be, as soon as it's rented, it needs to be pulled out of the database. Or if people are uploading different pictures, it just pops up. So it needs to be reactive in that. So now that I knew what I needed, and the site was designed from, we designed the whole process. All the designs were completely set up, and the workflow was done. And now it just became a process of actually dropping the motor into the car so it could go. So as a non-developer, it is extremely confusing. I can't tell one language from the other if you put a gun in my head. It was like a very complicated affair, and I love researching, so even with researching, it was, the PHP, it seemed like you would have to create everything from scratch. Your Rails was good, you had the packages plus the you can make it customizable. But things eventually became tricky with that. WordPress, that just didn't seem customizable enough. It just seemed like it wasn't very flexible, and this is all needs to be custom built for this specific thing. Drupal, it seemed more like a WordPress, another template system based on PHP. I didn't get too far into that, but that wasn't especially working either. So I wish this was a neat slide with pie charts and bar graphs of, after meeting with these developers, and say, oh, well, here's how I'm going to take with this person and this language, and here's what the budget would be for that. But it wasn't. Everybody had their own thing. It's the wild, wild west out there. And when you don't know what you're doing, it is scary. And everybody's coming at you, and you're having meetings with people, and you get the feeling after the 10th meeting that a lot of these people are meeting with you because they have a phone bill to pay, and you're the conduit to get in their phone bill paid. They want to do it for the end result of getting paid, which you know, they're not looking to create something, build something great. It was just kind of about a lot of ancillary things. So finally, when I found Meteor, I knew it was like I knew it was immediately different. It was like as soon as the first person, I forget exactly where I heard it, but immediately, so somebody had listed a site, and I went to the site, and it downloaded on my, I have basically dial-up because of the internet in my neighborhood. So as soon as I downloaded it, I put it in my URL, and it came up on my screen like jarringly fast. It actually made me uncomfortable how fast it loaded. So I was reading that, I was looking at that, and I was like, wow, this is really something. This is like the future. Because this is like how fast things should load on a computer. This is how things should work. So, you know, read a couple of different articles about it. Everybody seemed really excited about it. You know, for this site, it had the isomorphic, so you could create things really fast. Because the scripting language is the same on both sides. The user authentication, which is a huge part of the site, it touches 90% of the site, is already built in. It's reactive, and it just pulls stuff out of the database when it's not accessible. A lot of the packages we got in at like 1 point. So it wasn't like fully, well, it's still relatively young. But a lot of the packages were already built to get into things, the forms and some of the accounts and some other parts of the site. This is more developer talk. This is like called up by developers. So what was easy about this? So this is so not to get too technical into that, but he was saying that a lot of this was already what was needed. It was already creating the packages. And even we used outside services such as Google Maps and Braintree and Google Elasticsearch, and the packages were built that we could actually get into those outside services without too much trouble. Easy search for Elasticsearch was one of them. Without Elasticsearch, it would have been extremely difficult to build the search mechanism. But fortunately, it already existed. So that was great. That helped out a huge amount. So that as soon as I saw that was involved in already built in, that was another plus. I knew we were going in the right direction. So what really sold me on the platform beyond this was the community. You know, as soon as I started talking to people about it and looking at it and reading the reviews and reading people talking about it, you could tell this was people who were doing something because they loved it. You know, it was 1.0 when we got there. And it wasn't like people were coming because, okay, I'm gonna, you know, there's tons of companies that are using it, we're gonna get like great jobs. And you know, everybody was out on the same limb and everybody was creating it together. And that was really great as a guitar player who does what I do, and all the traveling and and everything else. You know, you do it because you love it, because you're excited about it, you're passionate about it. And that's the exact same spirit I found in Meteor. So it was a perfect marriage to build what I wanted to build, because this year plan, it's about building a community. It's about people who trust each other and you know, want to build something great, create great art, and build great projects with the platform. So that was really that was the bottom line thing that really sold it. So after going through months of meeting with different developers, I put up an ad specifically for AV. And within a week, the internet manifested me, a young man named Meteor Jansen, who was the embodiment of everything that I thought Meteor was. He was basically like, I want to do it. I want to build something like this. I want to build a great product. I want to build something this big. I love working with Meteor. It was great. It was like, okay. After like just crawling through the mud for months, and finally the sun came out. So that was great. So, and with the community as well from the beginning, that was the reason I got into it. And then during the development process, he's out in California, he was going to meetups, talking to people, hey, I need to make this happen, how do I make this happen? And everybody was always helpful. He was putting things up on GitHub or Stack Overflow, and people would answer his questions, and everybody was super helpful. I was over here, and I would show up to meetups, and I don't know anything about developing. I would just sit in the audience and kind of sit there and try to listen and absorb through osmosis a few terms, and every once in a while I would email Adrian and say, hey Adrian, how does it, I never spoke to him. I know, how do you make this calendar work? He sent me this long article about, here's how to do it. You know, everybody was so nice and so giving and so caring and so excited, wanting to see this platform go forward. It was so helpful to get a site like this. It's really big and does a lot of stuff. It's a lot of functionality. To get it built was, you know, it was singing myself there doing it, but it was really everybody who was helping out. And without everybody, you know, helping out, it wouldn't be done. It wouldn't work as well as it does. So that's really, you know, if I could, you know, just say one thing about Meteor, like the community is really amazing. That's the most important thing. So the only pain points we felt during the process was there was really only one big problem, was collection efforts. We tried to, the site's a lot about uploading pictures of the gear. And after a couple of weeks when a few people were using it, the service just started crashing out every single day. Every time we tried to do anything, the service would crash. So before you know, we're looking at modules, we saw that it was basically the memory leakage from Collection FS and trying to upload the pictures was just killing us. So, you know, there was a day I'll never forget that I don't know how we're going to upload pictures. So I didn't even answer that email. I was like, I'm very good about answering emails and phone calls, but that I was like, we'll let that one be. You figure it out, you let me know when it's done. And then it eventually was done. And the admin, there's a couple of different admin packages. The admin is really good. It's called admin. Different levels of creativity out there. So the only problem with that is you can only, it only registers users if you sign up through an email. So if you sign up through Facebook or Google Plus, it's not going to work. You know, you have to go through RoboMongo and be half a developer to find out users for you. So that's, you know, one thing that's, if he's listening, if he could fix that one thing, I would be super duper appreciative. Personal play. So that's really, you know, other than that, the site was, you know, went along really great. Now it's like in the first week of me going out and talking to people about it. So this is the site. Here it is, after long last. Here's the search parameters for all the, what you're looking for, when you're looking for, and where you're looking for it. That's how you search through everything, and if you want to go to a listing, you see something you like, you can go to the listing page, and there's your item. There's all the photos that you might want to see, all the different angles, see all the cool stuff, bells and whistles that it does. Again, really, we're aiming to make every musician who has a lot of equipment their own store, to be their own personal entrepreneur. So, you know, you can list anything you want if you have accessories you want to add to this while you're dealing with this person. And they have something you've wanted your entire life, but you never got around to it because there's always one piece away that you can't quite get to. So there's always something. And you have your maps, and you can contact people, and here's a few other listings. If they have other bigger things, you can look at if they have. In the listing process, you could go through and describe it, and if it has modifications. So the renters know exactly what they're getting. it's no surprises on the day of the exchange.
Did you have that big red circle on the map?
Yes.
Why is it so big?
Why is it so big?
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to give people's exact addresses of where, hey, this person has this magnificent cache of so we obscured their address a little bit so they can have a little privacy. And security and safety is our main priority. It's your personal safety and security, and your gear's security and safety. That is the most paramount important thing to us.
And is this live now?
It is live, yeah. We just started pushing it out into the public Friday. So.
Have you just been focusing on New York, or have you pushed it out to other states or cities, or?
Yeah, well, it's we've gone to really just local for the moment.
Repeat the
What I'm
question.
thinking is this would be ideal for South by Southwest with all the musicians that come in from around the world.
Right, absolutely.
That would be huge.
Yes. Right.
So,
Repeat.
yeah.
Right. So the question was, are you pushing this any place other than New York, or just in New York, or any other cities? So.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I have two quick questions. I guess the first one would be, are you dealing with insurance of somebody breaks it while it's away? And I guess the second question would be, now that the hard part's done, the building site, now comes like the really hard part of getting users.
Right.
Yeah, so you guys launched Friday. I'm curious about how you guys are doing that. Yeah.
So how do we handle the safety of your equipment? How do you handle deposits? So basically, when you list these items, you can pick whatever amount the value of the thing is. If you say it's worth 1,000 guitars, we are going to authorize the person's credit card for that amount of money. So if anything is damaged or lost or whatever happens while it's out of your hands, you are completely covered for that amount, and the amount is there during the duration of the rental. And you have 24 hours after the rental to get it back, to look at it, to make sure everything's just the way you handed it over. And then, as long as you don't contact us, then we release the deposit back to the renter. So that's how we're handling that, because that's a huge thing that is super ultimately important to us. Is that exact scenario, and for the most part, if you're renting it, you know the value of it, you understand the value, and you're not going out and buying it because it is so expensive. So the last thing you're going to do is lean it against the wall and watch it fall over. Yeah.
Yes. The second part of the question.
The second
Marketing.
part was getting users.
Right, getting users. We're just starting out, so we have a few ideas, and basically at this point we're out testing our thoughts to see what works and what doesn't work. So I will report back to what does work and what doesn't in the future. Yes.
Yeah, your question made me think of something. I went to one other Meteor group a month or two ago, and there was a presenter, I think he was from Cleveland or Cincinnati, who works at the Meteor Dev Shop, and he was creating a user retention package. He was in the middle of producing it, it was like launching, and that would help you exactly like, getting users and retaining users. I should try to get a thing for you.
Absolutely, I would appreciate it. So there's a user retention package and that was created on the Meteor platform, and I can't see your name
Jill.
here. Jill said that she would help me get in touch with that person. So that would be great. Yes.
Are you comfortable telling us a little bit about the price difference between like a PHP developer, a Drupal developer, and the Meteor developers that you got quotes from?
Right. So what were the price differences between the different platforms of people that I spoke to, PHP, Ruby, Drupal, WordPress? Again, I wish there was a clear and defined methodology to the pricing of different freelance developers, but there really isn't. It's really you know, what they say they can do and how they can do it. And so the biggest difference with the Meteor developers is because it is isomorphic, they can build packages super quickly. So that really did help with the budget as far as, you know, time is money. So the faster you can build it, the better you can build it, you know, then the budget is smaller. And I'm self-funded, so that is a point of importance. So, yes.
How long did it take him to build it?
How long did this take to build? Just from from the Meteor side of it, it was about 6-7 months. So it was, for everything that this site does, it was pretty quick. It was one guy sitting in a room pounding it all out. So he did a great job, and he's since opened up his own dev shop called Whip Away. Give him a.
How long ago did you write it all down without starting to write code?
How long did it? I'm sorry.
How long ago did you write it all down but you weren't writing code?
How long did I? Once I sat down, from the day I sat down and with pen and pad and drew the whole site out, that took about 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months to design, to think of how everything would interact with each other, how it would all, the workflow, the different user sides, the different pathways between the renter and the owner. That, just the workflow side of it and the design side of it took about 2 months. Anybody else? Cool. Thank you so much.